Hey everybody, I am back here with another review. Sometimes it's few and far between, but I don't really get to see a ton of new horror, and when I do, sometimes I feel like talking about it and sometimes I don't. But I went and saw Hereditary this weekend. I don't go to the movies a ton, and when I do, it is usually horror, but I definitely don't see the latest thing that's come out, and people are always asking me, oh, are you excited about such and such movie, or are you going to see such and such? Like A Quiet Place was like that. I still haven't seen it, but Hereditary was one of those that, refused to be ignored. Um, I've been hearing so much buzz about it. I think they debuted it at one of the film festivals recently, and lots of good stuff coming out about it. And then, of course, it's popping up on all the podcasts I listen to, and I'm seeing reviews on just online. And so I thought, well, I better jump on the bandwagon with this one and go see it in a theater. So I didn't even watch the trailer because, again, I really feel like in order to really get all that there is to offer in movies, especially horror movies, you need to go in as blind as possible, especially because trailers these days they show too much and you kind of know what to expect. And I feel like a lot of times when you go back and watch those old horror movies that you really don't know anything about, those are the ones that end up having impact just because you can really be caught off guard and impacted by what you're seeing. So didn't even watch the trailer. I knew the general concept of it, kind of. And I had seen, The Strange Daughter. But so I went in pretty blind, not really knowing what to expect. Plus, this director is his first time directing, so I didn't have anything to gauge it on as far as like style or whatever. So this is going to be spoilery, and if you have not seen this movie, please don't listen to this review or any review. Please watch it first and then listen to podcasts and such. I just feel like it won't be ruined, but it just won't be as good if you know what's going on. So stop here, come back after you watch the movie. So anyway, first of all, I'm going to give you my cons, my criticisms, and then I'm going to end with the good things. First of all, I think this movie was about 20 to 30 minutes too long. Even though I was sucked into the story and sucked into the atmosphere, I just kept feeling like, is this going to be over soon? Is it halfway over? Like, I found myself, I was sort of ready for it to be over, which is not, a good sign. And while I love a good slow burn and I don't need every shot and every, scene to like have deep meaning or tell me exactly what's going on, I really appreciate the slow burn aspects of films. But I think there was just a few too many sort of disconnected offshoots that added time to this film that did not need to be there. And David, my husband, went with me, and he really did not like this movie at all, and I really think it had a lot to do with just the kind of emptiness and the too long. So I think that really hurt it overall. And related to that is, like I said, there was kind of too much going on. There's a main story, and the main story, I didn't even give a synopsis of this. That's okay. So there's a family who, at the very beginning of the film, the grandma dies. She's dead. Grandma's gone. So we're at her funeral, and her daughter, who is Toni Collette, she's probably in her mid to late 40s, is talking about how her mother was very secretive, and we find out that her mother was, it seems like, not abusive, but like manipulative, and her dad committed suicide, her dad starved himself, her brother committed suicide. Every single person in her family had mental illness, except her. That, coupled with the title of this film, Hereditary, leaves you to believe, oh, well, the mom, Toni Collette's character, her name's Annie. Annie's probably crazy. There's a good chance both of her children could be crazy, and that's probably what this is about, this hereditary thing. There's something about, mental illness or evil, or there's lots of like thematic stuff that can happen with this. And so you're not really sure when you're watching the movie, is there really like demonic witchcraft ghosty stuff happening, or are we seeing things through Annie's eyes and she's insane, right? You're not sure. So some of those offshoot scenes that don't necessarily tie strictly into the story are fine because, you know, we have to then decide what we believe about the story. But there was just a little too much of that going on, I think. And I think they were kind of trying to throw us off, you know. They're trying a little too hard to, oh, the demonic stuff's real. Oh, no, it's just mental illness, you know. So I do feel like that was trying too hard and that made it a little too long. Other than that, you know, I don't have too much criticism. I do feel like that was kind of a big deal. I would love to see this movie recut. If they cut out, like I said, 15 to 20, maybe even 30 minutes. Would love to see it recut to, like, I think it would pack more of a punch. But there's a lot of great things in this movie, and I think it deserves a lot of the praise that it's gotten. The acting is incredible. As I mentioned, Toni Collette, Gabriel Byrne plays her husband. I can't remember his name. Steve. And then her little girl, Charlie, was great. She's kind of a weird little girl. And her son Peter, and he was in the Jumanji movie with The Rock. I'm pretty sure it's the same kid. But the acting was really great. The atmosphere was fantastic. Like, the music was like really slow and like full of dread. The music, the atmosphere, the directing, the cinematography. It was a beautiful movie. Reminded me a lot of The Shining, actually. It had a lot of those like slow, wide, maybe not so much symmetrical shots, but just really pretty. It had like a very stylized, you know, color palette. This director is really talented. I'll be looking forward to what he does next. And I also think that it's a throwback to those like 70s cult films because at the end you find out, and again, hope you're not watching this if you haven't seen it, but at the end when you find out that, yes, the demonic presence is real, they want to put him in the body of the teenage son, and they want to worship him, and there are all these naked cult members in the house. I mean, that's very, very Rosemary's Baby, and I appreciated that because a lot of those 70s movies, like even like Don't Look Now, are a little long and slow and a little bit of a slog at times, but they're considered masterpieces and classics, and so I do feel like that's possibly what they were trying to do is, you know, throw back to that 70s style. And I will, just to end this review, it's been, I've gone on a little longer than I meant to, but I'm just going to end it with the best. There are some just super unsettling, iconic scenes in this movie. There's a part, again, you shouldn't be watching this, so I shouldn't have to explain this, but when Charlie has the allergic reaction and they have to race to the hospital, I wasn't exactly sure what was going to happen, but I knew it wasn't going to be good, and I thought, oh, they're going to have a wreck. This is going to be really terrible. They're going to have this wreck. Like, oh, it's going to be really bad. It's going to be really hard on Mom. But when she stuck her head out that window and he hit that pole, I mean, it was like a gut punch. I was just like, what? Because you love this weird little girl and you think the movie's going to be about her, and she dies. And just the way it was shot was so beautiful. The way you didn't see what happened. You just knew. You maybe knew what happened. You didn't even know 100% what happened. But, and the way they just stay on Peter's face. And he knows what happened. He looks in the rear view mirror to see what happened. It's almost like he's so guilty. He can't believe it happened. And the fact that he just drives off and just goes home and gets in bed. I was shocked. I was like, how can he not call his parents, run to his parents, tell them what? I could not believe he just went home and went to bed and didn't say anything. And the way we find out and the way his mother finds out is she has to when she goes to the car, the headless body of her daughter is in the car. And of course, it never leaves his face. And so you don't see any of this, but you hear her screaming and she's just in pain, and it's just, she can't believe what she's seeing. And like, you can just visualize She gets to the car. There's probably blood all over the car. Then she slowly like sees her daughters. It's horrific. It is horrific. Oh, and then it cuts to Charlie's head on the side of the road. Broad daylight, full blood. There's ants all over her head. I mean, it's just like, it's relentless. But it's also beautiful. And it's beautifully shot. It's amazing storytelling. And there are some other scenes that are really great, like when the mom is full on possessed and she's like banging her head on the basement door. There's just some really iconic stuff in here that I think is gonna like stand the test of time, and really be some standout horror scenes. So overall, I really liked Hereditary, but I don't know if I'll watch it again because it is so dark, which I love dark. But it's just because it is so long. I think I will go back and watch parts of it, like maybe especially like the first 30 minutes of it. But I definitely would recommend, if you're a horror fan and all, you gotta check it out. And even if you don't like it, there's good stuff in there. And it's very original, and it's beautifully styled and beautifully shot. So I would love to hear what you guys thought about it. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? And I'm looking forward to going out there and reading what the director has to say about this film, because I've not done any research on it. So, I may have to eat some of my words. He might spell out some things for me that like I just wasn't smart enough to get. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some research, and I'm really looking forward to whatever this guy does next. So, talk to you guys later.